Hello, my most amazing artist. I hope you're having a fabulous week so far. This is week 2 of our Perspective Fantasylands. Last week, we sketched out the idea that we had for our 1-point perspective fantasy land, or a landscape. You could have done a cityscape if you wanted buildings instead of natural things like trees or flowers or bushes. You could have added buildings, cars, street signs, whatever you wanted. You could have even got so creative and added like a monster in your background or something, like stomping towards your city to come and destroy it. There are so many different things that you could have done with your landscape or cityscape. For mine, I decided to do a river right down the middle of my paper, and as it gets towards a vanishing point, that river gets smaller and smaller, and there's a waterfall, some mountains in the back, and I did these beautiful trees that get smaller and smaller as well as they get towards the vanishing point. So now that we have our sketch done, we are going to outline this drawing, and you could do that with a bunch of different things. I'm going to use all of these probably. This is just a regular pen. If you have a pen, you can outline in that. You could outline using a Sharpie. This is a little bit thicker, so just be careful around small details if you're using one of these, because if you try to do small details with a thicker Sharpie, your lines will probably just start to run together. So you might want to use a pen, or if you have a thin Sharpie, that would work great as well, because it can get into tiny areas and draw lots of little details. And after we finish outlining our drawing with either pen or Sharpie, we are going to take an eraser and erase any other pencil marks that we might see. By outlining our picture, we are going to be able to make our details a lot more bold. It'll make it a lot clearer of what we're trying to draw. It'll make it look a lot more neat, and it'll make it easier for us next week whenever we come in and color this. So I know most of us, possibly, probably, maybe, have used a Sharpie or a pen to outline a picture before, and all you're going to do is come in and go over those pencil lines that we drew last week. Okay, it's important to do this slowly and carefully and mindfully, because we worked really hard on this drawing and we're using a permanent marker right now, so we want to make sure that we do our best not to make any mistakes. However, if you do make a mistake, then it is totally fine. Just try to either turn it into something new, or we can try to disguise it whenever we color it next time. So make that choice on your own. If you make a mistake, you can try to turn it into something else using your Sharpie, or we can try to fix it next time whenever we color this. So I've decided to use my thin Sharpie for my smaller details back here, and I decided to outline my trees first, but you can outline whatever you want first. And I'm just taking my time going over those lines that we did last time. Okay, so I'm actually going to speed this up so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me carefully go over every single line, because you might be sitting here for a while if I did that. But I don't think there's anything else I really need to explain about this. Just take your time, go over those lines, make sure you don't miss any important areas. And yeah, I'll be right back after I outline this. We are going to erase any more pencil lines, and then we'll be done. I just finished outlining, and I actually just used my thin Sharpie the whole time. I didn't really find a need for any of these, but like I said earlier, you can use whatever you have at home. Now I'm just going to take an eraser, and I like to use a pretty big eraser because it makes the job go by a lot faster. And I am just holding my paper with one hand, and I'm carefully erasing everything. If you try to do this really fast and aggressive, then your paper is going to kind of wrinkle, and you might accidentally like fold it back a little bit. So just take your time, and we are going to erase all those extra pencil lines to get them out of the way because we don't need them anymore. Okay, and I don't know if you noticed, but I did add some like texture lines with my Sharpie on my trees to make them look more like bark, and I did add some value on my mountains just to add a shadow on those sides. But you can wait till next week to do that if you want to, or you can go ahead and start planning. Where do you want your value? Where do you want your shadows? Where do you want your highlights? All that good stuff, because we will be talking about it and thinking about that kind of stuff next week. And while I'm erasing, I'm actually taking my eraser and like pushing it towards the edge of my paper instead of it bringing it inwards. That'll help it not wrinkle, okay? So I'm just taking my eraser, pushing outwards, and I'm going to erase all of those messy pencil lines. All right, I'm just doing a quick overview, making sure I got all those pencil marks out of here. And once you finish erasing your pencil lines after going over and outlining your drawing and all your details, then you will be done for this week. But we're not done with this drawing yet, because next week we are going to color it. So put this in a safe place so that you are ready for next week. Can't wait to see how your fantasy lands are turning out. I know they are going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.